Hello, my name is Leonardo Velasquez, and I'm going to talk about educational gaps and ICT access in La Guajira. Let's start. About La Guajira. Um, La Guajira in North Colombia has around 1 million people and 5 indigenous communities. Sadly, it ranks among the poorest areas in the country. In 2022, its motivational poverty rate was over 42%, the fourth highest in Colombia. A major issue is education. Only about 28% have upper secondary education, and just over 20% reach higher education, far below national average. These gaps result from long-term neglect and geographic isolation. Additionally, digital access is a big challenge. Around 72% of households have no internet, limiting learning opportunities and deepening inequality. Currently, improving both education and connectivity is essential to breaking the cycle. While researching, I found key government actions aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals (SDG). One is the Decree 1085, which expands education access, supporting education and the school feeding program PILE. Decree 1269 keeps the school feeding program PILE running during the school breaks, and Decree 1274 creates a university for the Guayo people. This efforts supports SDG 4 and SDG 10 by improving access for rural and indigenous communities. And on the tech side, Decree 1271 allows ICT investment in underserved areas. Also, the 2024 partnership between Claro and Starlink aims to connect remote areas, supporting SDG 9 and 16. These policies help build a foundation for inclusive and sustainable development. And for the first question, if your group could go to that country on a technical trip, what would you do first to deal with some of the problems stated about? If I could visit Colombia, I will start by going to Las Guajiras rural and indigenous areas to check digital and education access. With over 70% lacking internet, connectivity will be my top concern. I will also assess the impact of the starting project and Decree 1271 and talk to the teachers and leaders to understand the local barriers. For the second question, if your group was hired to work on solving some of those problems, what exactly would you do and how? Um, if I were hired to help, I will create a digital inclusion program. First, I will consider to install internet in schools and community centers with no access. Then I will train teachers and students in digital basis using relevant and accessible content. To make it last, I will train young people in the community to become digital promoters, helping others use online tools and services. This will empower the community and support SDGs 4, 9, and 10, and 16. For the last questions, make a short conclusion of the topic of your project. In short, La Guajira faces serious inequality in education and digital access, which fuels poverty. But with focused policies and collaborations, there is a real chance for change. Promoting connectivity, digital literacy, and local leadership can support long-term inclusive development. For the part of self-assessments, what did you learn while making this English project? I learned a lot about the everyday struggles in La Guajira. It made me appreciate things like internet access and education that I often take for granted. I also improved my academic skills by learning how to use a passive informant correctly. For the second question, what was the most enriching aspect of this process? I think it was understanding the deep social and educational inequalities and realizing how long-term neglect and corruptions have affected these communities. It also helped me reflect on my own privilege. Yeah. For the third question, how can you apply this project's process and learning aspects in your academic field? As a system engineering student, this project showed me how tech can solve real-world problems. It taught me about need assessment, data analysis, and how solutions like educational platforms or written infrastructure fit my studies. For the fourth question, how can you contribute to peace and prosperity throughout this project? I think by reducing digital and educational gaps, I can support equality. I hope to build tools for online learning and data systems that improve the educational access, even in remote areas. For the last questions, based on your work, assign yourself a grade between 1 and 5. If I have to grade myself, I will say I deserve a 5. Yeah. And for the last, these are the references of the project. And thanks for listening. Bye.